What was the biggest plot twist of your life? I found out my lazy roommate who never paid rent on time was secretly paying for my entire college tuition. For 3 years, I lived with this guy named Marcus, who drove me absolutely insane. He never had money for rent, always paid 2 weeks late, and seemed to spend all day playing video games while I worked 2 jobs to afford school. Every month it was the same story. I'd ask for his half of the rent and he'd go, "Oh man, I'm a little short this month. Can you cover me? I'll pay you back next week, I promise." Next week would come and go and I'd have to ask again. He'd always come up with the money eventually, but it was like pulling teeth. I was so frustrated because here I was, working at a coffee shop every morning before class and waiting tables every night, barely scraping by. Meanwhile, Marcus would be sitting on the couch in his pajamas at 2 in the afternoon, controller in hand, not a care in the world. I'd come home exhausted from my double shifts, and he'd be like, "Hey, can you grab me some food while you're out? I'm broke again." I started keeping a notebook of all the money he owed me. By junior year, it was over $3,000. I was getting angrier and angrier, especially when I had to take out more student loans because I was always covering his portion of everything. My friends kept telling me to kick him out, but we'd signed a 2-year lease together, and I couldn't afford the apartment alone. Plus, despite being a terrible roommate financially, Marcus was actually a pretty decent guy otherwise. He never left messes, was quiet when I studied, and even helped me with my computer science homework sometimes. Last month, everything changed when I got called into the financial aid office. The secretary told me there had been an error with my account, and I needed to speak with the director immediately. I panicked, thinking they were going to tell me I owed more money or that my loans had been denied. I walked into the office expecting the worst news of my college career. "Alex," the director said, looking confused, "we need to discuss your tuition payments. According to our records, someone has been paying your full tuition anonymously for the past 3 years." I stared at her blankly. "That's impossible. I take out loans every semester." She pulled up my account on her computer. "No, look here. Every semester, exactly 2 days before the payment deadline, someone pays your entire balance in cash. We have over $60,000 in payments from an anonymous donor." My mind was racing. "But I get bills every month. I take out loans to cover them. Those loans have been automatically canceled each semester after the anonymous payments come through. The money gets refunded to your bank account. Haven't you noticed large deposits?" Suddenly, it all clicked. Those random deposits I thought were delayed financial aid refunds. They always came right after I'd helped Marcus with some computer problem or fixed his laptop. I drove home in a daze and found Marcus on the couch, same position as always, playing some shooting game. But this time, I really looked at his setup. That wasn't just any gaming computer. It was a custom-built machine worth thousands of dollars. His headset, his chair, even his controller were all top-of-the-line equipment. "Marcus," I said slowly, "what do you do for work?" He paused his game and looked uncomfortable. "I told you, I do freelance stuff online." "What kind of freelance stuff?" He was quiet for a long moment, then sighed. "I design software for companies, apps, websites, security systems. I make pretty good money, but I work weird hours, so it probably looks like I'm just gaming all day." "How good is pretty good?" Another long pause. "Like, around 15,000 a month?" I nearly fell over. 15,000? "Marcus, why have you been pretending to be broke? Why do you always make me cover rent?" He looked genuinely embarrassed. "Because you work so hard for everything, and I was just lucky to be good with computers. It didn't feel fair that school was so easy for me to pay for when you were struggling. So I've been paying your tuition anonymously and pretending to be broke so you wouldn't feel weird about it." "You've been paying my tuition?" I whispered. "I figured if you thought I was just another broke college student, you wouldn't question where you were getting money for school. I saw how stressed you were about loans, so I just started covering it. The rent thing was just to keep up the act." I sat down hard on our crappy couch. "Marcus, I've been angry at you for 3 years." "I know," he said sadly. "I hated that you were mad at me, but I didn't know how else to help without making you feel like charity." We talked for hours that night. Turns out Marcus had been living off ramen and acting broke while secretly making sure I could afford my dream of becoming a teacher. He'd been watching me stress about money while knowing he could fix it, but was too thoughtful to make me feel like I owed him anything. The next day, I quit both my jobs. For the first time in 3 years, I could focus entirely on school. Marcus and I worked out a real arrangement where I handle all the household stuff while he covers expenses, like actual partners instead of him secretly taking care of everything. Last week, I got accepted to graduate school with a full scholarship. When I told Marcus, he just smiled and said, "I knew you'd get it. You're the smartest person I know."